warm welcome to my session. Myself, I am Hampika, Engineer of Electronics and Communication Systems. Today in this session, I would like to give a discussion about a research process and what are the types of research and what are the methods of research. These are the few factors what affecting on the managerial decisions. Previously, already we discussed on a topic of decision making to get a research, to do research. Whereas for this thing, for managerial decisions, these are the factors. One is the internal factor, which covers with the resources, organizational sources, technology available, trade unions, cash flow, and all. Whereas an external factors which covers the political factors, socio-economic factors, such as government policies, cultural factors, geographical factors, all these covers under the external factors to take a managerial decision which affects on a research. And the other one is a quantitative factor, which always can be measured in the form of a quantities such as the time, and again resources, money. All this comes under the quantitative factors. Whereas qualitative factors are measured in the form of quality. Quantitative covers with the quantities, whereas qualitative factors which covers with the organizational cohesive sense of belongings of employees, risk of technological change, etc. Whereas the final one is the uncertainty factor, which really unpredictable with a human being, because as a human beings, for sometimes even with a brilliance, we can't predict few factors, which covers comes under the uncertainty factors. So this is the factor which cannot be predictable. And what are the types of research? One of the important topic in research methodology is the types of research. This is descriptive versus analytical research. Descriptive research is a fact-finding investigation which aimed at describing the characteristics of individual situation or a group, or describing the state affairs as it exists at a presence. Whereas analytical research, which is a primarily concerned with the testing hypothesis and specifying and interpreting the relationships by analyzing the facts of information already available. See, the main difference of the descriptive research and the analytical research is to be tested. Whereas on descriptive, we are just finding the investigation point of view with a individual situation or a group as it is exists at a present. For example, to do any research based on the current existing present, we use it to do few research factors to do any investigation to find a solution. Whereas after this, we use it to analysis the particular topic or a particular data to implement before implementing. That again comes under the analytical research. And the other part is applied versus fundamental research. The name itself, applied research, so it is also called as action research, which is carried out to find a solution to real life problem requiring an action or policy decision, because we are applying the particular research done with a researcher. So this research is one of the type which carried out to find a solution to a real life. So thus the thing it named as a applied research, and it is also named by action research. And the other one is a fundamental research. And even the fundamental research, which is also known as a basic or pure research, in undertaken of knowledge without any intention to apply it in practice. Few projects are like they use it to make the research for a particular period, not for the sake of any social resolving or any application. All these type of researches comes under the fundamental research. Generally on academics, few people will choose this type of research for the sake of a academics. They use it to conclude it with a prototype. They are not sure for further implementation or further application or to resolve any other issues which really need for the society. So that was the type of a research called fundamental research, which it is undertaken out of intellectual curiosity and it is not necessarily problem oriented. As I previously said, they are doing for the sake of trial and error, maybe not for the sake of application. So fundamental research is a part which we are going to be do for a basic things. There is not at all a intention to do this project for a application or any real time. So in this type of research, there is no loss, no profit. At the same time, there is no need to go through the step by step of a research cycle or decision making factors. All this doesn't affect the fundamental research. Whereas applied research is very crucial for a researcher, which affects on a economy or a nation or a social life of a humans, because applied research is intentionally carried out to find a solution to a real problem. Then we use it to be very conscious for applied research more than a fundamental research. That's the major difference between applied versus fundamental. Whereas here applied research or action research are completed, whereas there is other beautiful concept called quantitative versus qualitative. Okay, again previously we have a factors of quantitative and qualitative. Here this is one of the type of research which named as a quantitative research. This is employed for measuring the quality of amount of a particular phenomena by the use of statistical analysis. Because generally we are measuring it in a quantity, not in a quality manner. So to measure a quantity, we need to investigate about a topic or a project in a statistical analysis. So qualitative research is a non-quantitative type of analysis which is aimed to finding quality of a particular phenomena. It's not again quantity. We are measuring it in a quality manner to find out the quality of particular phenomena. The other one of type of research is a conceptual versus empirical. Whereas conceptual research is generally used by philosophers because they took some concept, they didn't need any investigation, because as a philosopher they have a particular way of thinking, they have their own perspectives which is very attractive, catchy to any listener or a reader. So that's the thing, generally this conceptual research used by philosophers and thinkers to develop new concepts or to interrupt existing ones. The other beautiful part of a conceptual research is, with this research we are impacting the research point of view in a different manner. Generally the research defined as investigation, whereas here the research we are going to choose with a statements, not in an investigation point of view. So philosophers always use the statement which was more impactful to listeners. So that's the thing. These conceptual research also comes under a creative fields. So that's the thing. They use it to develop new concepts or interrupt existing one again. If someone did this manner, these conceptual researchers always ask, why don't this? Why do we choose this part? Why not this? Again, it comes under a other new part from the existing part. So this research type is used to interrupt the existing one or to break the existing thing to make a new era. Conceptual research always used to choose for philosophers and develop new concept developers and creative thinking people. All these researchers choose this type of a research. Whereas empirical research is a data-based research which is dependent on experience or observation alone, and it also aimed at coming with conclusions without due to regard for system and theory. For example, for empirical research, the main factor uses on empirical research is the experience or observation alone. As a faculty or as a researcher or as any profession, they have a certain period of huge experience on a same domain. They became expertise on the particular domain. Then they have the way of thinking to analysis about that domain because already they are expertise. So based on the data-based research, which always dependent on experience or observation alone, is chosen by a empirical research. Based on their experience, they use it to write some book, or they may give some slogans relevant to. If few people are expertise in yoga, they use it to speak about that particular yoga on the yoga expertise point of view. Maybe on the same stream, the other person will speak in a different manner. So the empirical research always gives a lot of base for any new researcher. Because the new researcher used to take the base of these experience factors sharing, and they use it to quick pick up with a new way of thinking on the same domain again. So thus the thing, empirical research is a data-based research, and which it depends on the experience or observation alone. And what are the qualities of a good research again? Here everyone have to question themselves that again research itself we are researching. Again, is there a good and bad on research? And there is a few qualities which really mentioning this particular qualities impacts on a good, and this particular qualities leads for a bad. Yes, absolutely. Because for anything, any factors we choose, there is a both sides of a coin. So that's the thing here. There are a few qualities mentioned by choosing a research, either it is good or bad. Then what are the qualities of a good research? The systematic is one of the major factor for a doing any research in a organized manner. So that's the thing, is a quality of a good research. Logical. To do anything, logic always reflects on a decision making. So again, the logical is a good quality for a good research. And empirical. Again, empirical itself, based on their individual experiences or observations. So they are sharing their experience. When they have experience, they have a few things to speak about the domain. So empirical research is one of the good quality to do any research for a further useful things. And replicable. What this research is replicating? For anything there is a few meaning, what we are speaking, what we are thinking, and how we are doing. So the replicable is also one of the good quality to do any good research. Creative. If the research is in a creative manner, automatically it became like a very unique. Because creative never copied. Every creativity have their own mark. That was the definition of a creativity. They're creating. So does the thing creative always attracts any customer or a listener or new people for a new thing? So creative is also one of the good quality for a good research. And the other one is the use of multiple methods. For one thing, there are a few, multiple usages means obviously it is good. Every person attract for these multiple methods uses. Multitasking. So this is again other good quality of a good research. In a different manners we go with these qualities. Still, I would like to give a very brief explanation about the qualities of a good research. To do any research, researcher used to investigate in a systematic manner to reach their particular expecting organized output or a solution. So thus the thing systematic comes under one of the quality of a good research. And any researcher should be logical to investigate their question to reach the answer. So thus the thing, the logical is also covers under the good research. When a researcher is empirical, they are very clear about the literature study. Then they are very clear about what they use to take next step. And when they are already empirically going through their research, it is always replicable. And very few of the researchers will select a creative to create their own mark. For example, a person is doing a new thing, a new solution in a regular manner, and the other person is doing the same research with a projectable or creative manner. Then automatically, when they use it to explain their research to the others, the creative research always attracts to listen first. Later, either it is useful to the listener or not, it is a later part. But this grabs the attention of a listener or creates the enthusiasm to read the research. Whereas in a normal manner, of course, the same part. Still, the attention grabbing is little less. So there may be chance to reach others after a long time. So that's the beauty of a creative. When we included the creative in a doing research, it becomes very interesting. The other one, use of multiple methods. Let me give a best example of current era For any goal, they use it to design with a multi-usage purpose. Always customer use it to attract for a multi-usage. On my research, if I am going with some product oriented designing and I design my product to use for a multi-purpose, always this gives a huge weightage and demand for market. So use of multi methods is one of the quality always used to think by a researcher, gives more impact on marketing. And the other part, the needs of research. What are the needs for any research generally? For example, if anyone speak about research of or any student know about research, generally to create some interest on research, they use it to think what are the needs of a research. Of course, I am interested when I listen to one class, but I didn't know the needs. It will dilute after the class or after some time. When I know the needs for a research, then I make interest on the research. It never used to dilute. So, the needs of research are exploration. Exploration is the one of the part which always gives more understanding to a researcher. What really researcher would like to take a step for a research domain. If few people are explored by reading so many articles, whereas few people used to go with a visiting lot of different cultures, different people, interacting with a different people, then they'll collect the sharing of knowledge and experience of others. And few of the others they use it to explore through internet maybe. Not with a books, not with a traveling, not with a interacting, through internet source. So whatever these factors comes under the exploration. And the other one, describe. When we decided to study one topic, we use it to describe the topic. The describing a particular topic or a particular domain or a concept which gives more understandable and more way of exploring for a further data. So the other one is a diagnosis. A diagnosis is simply defined like a predicting. For example, when I study one concept through exploration, I described it well, and finally I use it to know what really this topic is lacking, or what really there is a gap between the individual thinking and the existing one. That was the very important and a crucial part for a research. When we know the distance between this gap, we are very clear to do our research and to take steps towards the solution. The investigation is going in a proper manner. So diagnosis is nothing but the finding out the missings or finding out the needs for sometimes. If we go with the social issue resolving, it comes under needs. We use it to diagnose the situation or a current state, what really the origin for this issue. When we found the origin, then we will go with a clear manner of a solution. Whereas in medical terms, the diagnosis always helps to a doctor to find what was the actual suffering for a patient. So here also, diagnosis is nothing but the finding the gap or finding the origin for issue. And hypothesis. As we already studied about a hypothesis topic, which always able for a testing. Of course, I diagnosis the gap. Is it really logical? Because it's my individual prediction. Is it really implementable? Is it really about to find a solution for it? All this will cover on the hypothesis. So that's the thing, hypothesis is always a testable. And final one, inductions and deductions. This is one of the major need for a research. And here we would like to give a very brief definition of a research process. We already studied about a research, whatever the types in a research, and what really research cycle covers, and what was the research process then. A research process consists of a series of actions or steps necessary to effectively carry out a research, and the desired sequences of these steps. In simple words, I would like to give a other statement of a research process. The process which was chosen by any researcher to do their research is nothing but a research process. Let me give a very simple example which is understandable for any age group. For example, a person would like to cook something. Then the person used to think about the process to cook. If I would like to cook a Maggie, what was the process? The process of cooking Maggie is boiling a water. To boil water, we used to take a vessel, keep a water on a vessel, make a flame, then we used to boil it, then keep the Maggie on it. So this is the process to cook it. Just like that, to do any research in any domain, there is some particular process chosen by a researcher again. So thus the thing is, research process always consists of a series of actions or steps necessary, which effectively carried out research and desired sequences of these steps. And to produce the new knowledge or to offer a new manner, understanding present knowledge is also very important. Because how the person used to decide about the process when they know about the basic knowledge of the topic. And what are the methods of research again? Here I would like to differentiate the research process and research methods and types of research. See, the types of research is simply understandable by a type of a research which domain they use to select. Philosophers will select this one type of research, whereas scientists will select the other type of research. Academicians will select the one type of research. This is a type of research. And for any type of research, there are a few methods followed by a researcher. That is nothing but a methods of research again. And what is the methods of research covers to be? One of the method is the scientific method. This method involves a technique for investigating phenomena, acquiring knowledge, and correcting and integrating previous knowledge. Here, the scientific method, the word itself is a following a scientifically. So these are the methods which always chosen by a researcher to do investigation phenomena or to acquiring a knowledge or to correcting and integrating a previous knowledge. Because these three steps are very primary steps for any research. So scientific research always covers this investigation, primary knowledge collection, and interpreting and integrating existing knowledge again. For example, here I'll give you on numbers for a normal starting of their educations. Kids used to learn numbers, right? For that, if we go with example of a scientific method, there is a 2 we use it to write like this, and for example we use it to write like this, and few will write like this. Okay, for this thing, this top point, if one person corrected 2 is like this and they integrated with the previous knowledge only. If someone already told that 2 is a number, is an integer. This is a very basic example I would like to make you people to understand. For the scientific method, it used to cover very basic things about the investigation. If someone used to go with this thing only, maybe what really numbers are important, why we are learning. To acquire knowledge. And to correcting, we used to go with the different types of writing styles. And also, science always refers to a very body of schematic and organized knowledge which makes use of scientific method or to acquire a knowledge in a particular field or an inquiry. And whereas a scientific method is a schematic collection of data and their theoretical treatment through proper observation, and it also attempts to achieve a systematic correlation facts by experimentation, observation, and logical arguments as well. Whereas logical arguments form accepted by postulates and a combination of these three in varying proportions. And whereas what are the basic postulates in a scientific method again? Whereas we speak about what scientific methods covers and what are the basic postulates in scientific method means it relies on a empirical evidence and it also utilizes relevant concepts. It is committed to only objective considerations. It proposes ethical neutrality. It results into probabilistic predictions and the methodology is made known. Whereas it aims at formulating scientific theories like E equal to mc square or action equal to negative reaction. All these are formulating some scientific theories again. And in which manner? With empirical evidence again. And how it utilizes with the relevant concepts again. If I choose this formula in a irrelevant topic called other mathematics, it is not possible. And even it is not even suitable. So it utilizes relevant concepts. And it is committed to only objective considerations. And the other one is it also ethical neutrality presupposes. It results into probability predictions. To formulate these type of formulas, the researcher always used to go with the different probabilistic predictions. And the methodology is made known again. Just to understand, I give these formulas. And the other method is a historical method. The name itself, it involves primary sources and other evidences to researcher and then to write a history. History always speaks about a past. But in which manner history is to be written? With some proofs, with some evidences, with some existing architectures. So, it involves the techniques and guidelines by which historians use primary sources and other evidences to write any history. And this approach may also be used with the artistic project developments. Because history method is always for a application oriented, or for sometimes after writing history, we can resolve some issues of a current generation also with the historical manner. For example, the Kakatiya's river structure. Even now, few of the areas used to take it as a reference, and they used to make a link system rivers. That's the beauty of a historical methods. Who really found the evidences, based on the evidences, they wrote the history, always a reference for a future generations. When the really future also affected with such type of social issues or other resolutions or any other wars affected with the future, always helps this as a reference, and the other researchers makes it easy based on their condition and possibilities of a research. And generally for here we have a few steps involved in a conducting a historical research again. Here are the 5 steps. Identification of a research topic and formulation of a research problem or a question. And the data collection and literature review, which is very, very important. For sometimes, if we miss this data collection and literature review in very outcuts or outlayer, it affects, as I previously said, when others take this as a reference, which is outlayered, not really in detail, it was very tough to them to find the gap. Automatically they use it to keep it away and they will go with the good one. And the other one is evaluation of materials. Because here, based on the evaluation of the materials itself, the historians use it to decide to write as a evidence of their history. And data synthesis. Because they use it to synthesize the data for a clear and a interlinked manner to understand with the future. And the final one is the report preparation and a preparation of narrative exposition. And what are the research sources again? We discussed about the types of a research and methods of a research. Good. To do the types of a research or a methods of a research always needs some sources. Then what are those sources? Mainly here we are discussing about two types of research sources. One is the primary research, the other one is the secondary research. Primary research always includes data collection not previously existent. For example, all the interviews, surveys, speeches, or performances. All these didn't have any existing of data. Based on that data, they use it to. They may look after relevant things, but not exactly what they are doing at that time. Interview is a part to decide for a recruitment for sometimes, for deciding a post for sometimes, because it doesn't have any previously existent what the interviewer used to ask the question. If there is a particular agenda for a questionnaire, it doesn't become again an interview. It was a very spontaneous thing about to answer by a interviewer what asked question by a interview person. So that's the thing. Interviews, surveys, it doesn't have any previously existing things. Based on their spontaneity, based on their collection on the spot, recalling on that time, even surveys also. The surveys itself, we are surveying to collect data. Survey didn't have a particular agenda. Even speeches. Speeches always given by a speaker. They may take some topic with some awareness, but not really with a manuscript. Speaker always used to speak with a own knowledge based on the audience, based on the area, or based on the relevant environment, or what was the real need of a speaker called to the auditorium or some function. So that's the thing. Speeches are also don't have any previously existent. In the speakers have their individual style to speak on the topic. Even some performances. The performer always used to have their own style to present their creativity. Even we give the same topic or a same stream, the performances will go in a different manners. All this comes in primary research. Primary research is one of the part, and the other source, secondary research. Then what comes under a secondary research again? It all includes a summary, collection, or from few library data like books, journals, magazines, and even electronics data. And if you have a database already, internet nowadays, lot of websites, all these comes under a secondary research. And a research journey, there are two important decisions to make: what you want to find out about and how to go about finding their answers. A research itself defined as an investigation to reach a particular solution in an organized manner. So that's the thing. For a research process, we always use it to be very aware what you want to find out about. The question should be always a clear, empirical, logical. What already we discussed about the good qualities of a research. All the qualities should be covered. And how to go about finding their answers. Here the research process comes. based on the process chosen by a researcher, the finding their answer will become a easy or a difficult. And unit of analysis. Simply, unit of analysis refers to the person or a collective or objective that is a target of investigation. And typical unit of analysis, which includes individuals, groups, organizations, countries, technologies, object, such as, for instance, if we interested in studying people's shopping or for their outcomes, there are some attitudes to new technologies, then the unit of analysis is the individual. Unit of analysis always should be individual based on the attitudes. And what was the difference between a research type, research methods, and methods of research again? And what are the real need for a researcher? Sources of a research is very, very important for any researcher. And here we go with a few references of a textbooks and all. Thank you. Thank you so much for your valuable listening.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.